Hi folks, welcome to another edition of Government Matters. I'm your host, Mike Dobbs. And we don't have one, we don't have two, we don't have three, we have four guests today, which I think is our personal best record. But we're here to talk about a remarkable new program that everyone in Springfield should know about and take advantage of. And that program, if you've not heard of it before, is called the Home Modernization Navigator. And this program is going to give people in Springfield, it's a pilot program and it's in Springfield and in Lowell. It's going to give them a lot of information on how to improve their energy consumption at their home. Now, if you're like me, you dread that email or that paper bill that comes from the electric company because you don't know exactly what's going to happen. Well, one of the ways that we have to deal with rising energy costs is become more energy efficient. And this program gives people the information so they can make decisions about what they should do, if there are programs out there that help them financially on it, if they qualify. This is a fantastic program that literally everyone in the city of Springfield should take advantage of, including me. I'm certainly going to be making some calls about some of the stuff that they can help you with. So, time for me to screw up some names here as we go around. Sitting next to me is Tina Quagliato Sullivan. See, I've known her as Tina Q for I don't know how many years, because that's what Mayor Sarno calls her. She is the Deputy Development Officer for Housing, Community Services, and Sustainability. Next to her is Victor Malandano, Community Outreach Ambassador for All in Energy. Next to Victor is Meg Howard, the Program Director of the Massachusetts Clean Energy Center. And next to her, last but certainly not least, is Christopher Herringa, Senior Director of Decarbonization Programs with Abode. Thank you all for coming in. You guys all came in, well, not you, Tina, but these guys all came in from the Boston area. So first of all, let me just read off some of the stuff that this program does, and then we'll get into as many specifics as we can. And this is a relatively new program, right? It just started in January, was it?
That's right. We did a soft launch in November, but really went live this January.
Okay, so these are the things that this program can help consumers address: energy bill savings, clean electricity, appliances and yard equipment, weatherization to prevent energy loss, heating and cooling, solar energy generation, electrical upgrades, and transportation. So there is an amazing coverage of energy use in our society here, because you include transportation as well. So there's a lot going on here. So Meg, I'll start with you because the name director, program director, is in your title. So how did this program come about? How long was it in the making? I think a lot of us know a program called Mass Save and have used Mass Save, and it's a good program. So how did this program come about, and how does it differ from what Mass Save does?
That's a great question, and I'm glad you've heard of Mass Save because we're going to come back to that. But I'll just start by giving a little bit of context about my organization, the Massachusetts Clean Energy Center. We are a quasi-public state economic development agency focused on accelerating clean energy and climate tech all across Massachusetts. We're really thinking about how to make energy affordable, abundant, locally generated here in Massachusetts. And we started running this program. It's actually funded by our partners in state government from the Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs. You asked when we started. Probably 2024, maybe as far back as 2023, we started talking about this idea. We came to the name Navigator, really feeling like Massachusetts has a very robust set of incentives and programs and rebates to help people make these energy decisions in their home, which is great. And it can be a bit complicated and a bit much to navigate for people. Even myself, who works in this space, it's kind of difficult to keep track of. And that's on top of any home improvement project where, you might be working with a contractor. Am I getting a good price? Am I making the right decision, installing the right equipment? So there's just a lot to figure out in any one of these projects. And then you just ran through that whole list of all the energy related things we touch in our lives. So that's where the idea of the Navigator came from. And we're piloting it in Springfield and Lowell. And the idea is we want to kind of learn the lessons and best practices in the next few years here. We hope to expand to a few more cities, but really see it as a pilot with a target around 2028 of taking those lessons and best practices to Mass Save that you alluded to, the utility-run energy efficiency programs that operate in most communities in the Commonwealth, so that they can continue offering these services here in Springfield, but also scale them, at least the best ideas out of the Navigator statewide. And just one more piece I'll say as we were kind of generating the idea of the Navigator. Any resident in Springfield can call up the Navigator, set up a video appointment, and we wanted to be thoughtful in the program design and outreach strategies to make sure it was serving all populations, especially those that research has shown haven't benefited as much yet from the clean energy transition. So we're trying to think about, do we have an offering? Can we give meaningful information to a renter of what decisions they can control if they're paying the bill, or are there things they can buy to take a little more control of their energy destiny? Similarly, rental property owners can be a hard segment to reach, but we want to think about how to reach them and how to work with them in a way that helps them make decisions for their rental properties. Low-income households, the state of Massachusetts has a lot of offerings for low-income households, but they can be confusing to navigate and there are barriers to face. So again, making sure those folks are getting in the door and understand what opportunities there are out there. And finally, folks who want to communicate in a language other than English. The Navigator services are offered in English, of course, as well as Spanish, Portuguese, and Khmer, which is the language that's spoken in the Cambodian community in Lowell. So we're just trying to meet people where they are and make sure we can help all residents of the Commonwealth make decisions that transition them to clean and affordable energy.
So the press release that I saw is dated January 30th. So between February and now, how has the program, how have people embraced the program? Are you seeing when people learn about the program that they dig right in, make the phone call, start talking to people about their concerns? Or are we still very much in the stage of getting the word out to get the maximum number of people that we can the information that they need?
I can start, but I should hand it to the folks who are actually...
I was going to say, Victor,
okay,
you're a community outreach ambassador. How has the reception been to this?
Well, the reception has been warm. A lot of individuals, when they get to engage with us and understand what the program offers, they're very happy to receive our services. I will tell you that some of the obstacles that we have had over the past few months is a lot of it is mistrust in the community. A lot of folks have had bad experiences with third-party suppliers or even with solar companies, and they still don't recognize the brand or the Navigator, and we need to differentiate ourselves. One of the services that we provide at All In Energy is an energy bill checkup, and we help individuals understand their bill consumption, their electric bills and their gas bills, and depending on their income, we can help them see if there are ways they can reduce their bill. I think a lot of folks don't know that they're overpaying in their rates. And as recently as this past weekend, I was able to book a resident in Springfield for an energy bill checkup. Luckily, she had a bill with her. I was able to check it out, and she was paying twice as much of the basic rate. And this is quite a common occurrence that I see in the community. And due to these past experiences, people are skeptical or talking to us, and we need to break down those barriers. So we definitely appreciate the opportunity here to show our faces, to tell people this is information they can trust. And in a way, there are a lot of obstacles and tasks that people need to do in order to reduce their bills. And we just encourage people to be wary of when they're talking to people outside the supermarkets. Just make sure that you read the fine print. A lot of these third-party suppliers start with low rates, and then they jack it up, eventually, a few months down the line. They might have cancellation fees. They are quite high. And Not Only in Energy will help you understand your bill, help you lay out your options, and also guide you through ways that you can get rid of these suppliers, third-party suppliers.
And if I can say,
Please.
certainly from the city's perspective, I think we're seeing lots of folks reach out to us with questions, similar, being sort of skeptical of the Navigator and the program and whether this is actually something beneficial to them. And so I think from the city's perspective, we are very much trying to encourage folks to take advantage of this program while it's here. And I think, the city and city staff advocated very strongly to the Commonwealth for some type of navigation service for residents, because we kept hearing from residents about how complicated and cumbersome navigating the different programs and benefits is to them. And so we're thrilled that it's here, but we really want folks to take advantage of it while they can. And I think, sort of anecdotally, anytime that Springfield gets singled out by Boston for a program, we should take advantage of it.
Why, yes. Chris, what has the reaction been like that you've seen to people to the program?
Also, I would agree with Victor. It's been very warm. We've worked with a lot of wonderful people, and we've had a lot of people reach out to our team afterward to thank us and express their excitement to re-engage with our team. So we have advisors that can work with homeowners or renters and discuss their goals and help them understand how to achieve those. So if it's, I want to lower my bills, or I want to reduce how much pollution I'm contributing by burning fossil fuels in my house, or I want to buy an EV, or I want to get some electric yard equipment, we're happy to talk with anyone about any of those topics. And they can re-engage with us as much as they need throughout that whole journey. And they can come back to us and discuss a different project later on. So we're here to hold your hand. We're here to provide third-party objective advice and just be an ally for you and help you navigate the different programs that you could take advantage of and help you get to whatever that goal is that you have for you and your family.
Well, I'll just say that within the last week, I've had 2 young people knock on the door. In fact, one was yesterday, wanting to see my electric bill. And I can't remember the name of the company, even though it was blazoned on her shirt and hat. But the bottom line is that she grew to be fairly aggressive, like, do you have the time? And I said, no, I don't. Well, can't you show me your electric bill? Well, we do everything paperless in order to save a little bit of energy and the planet a little bit. And I wasn't about to drag her in or find it on my phone and show it to her. And I think that kind of marketing by companies that you aren't really sure about contributes to some of the mistrust that you guys have seen, because in 2025, it is not the most effective way of salesmanship to cold call people at their home. It really isn't. I mean, I'm an old guy. That used to be something all the time when I was a kid, Fuller Brushman, the newspaper guy, whatever, but not today. And so you do find people who are wary then because of some of these experiences they've had in the past.
Yeah.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I think wary for good reasons, that there have unfortunately been these bad actors. And so we are working to get that message out there that the Navigator is a state-funded, no-cost service where you can talk to an expert who's not trying to sell you anything. They're just there to give you advice. Like Abode and All in Energy, they don't sell solar panels. They're just there to help residents understand their options and get advice. because of some of these barriers around trust, I think some of our most effective outreach, and Victor, you can correct me, but the city, we co-wrote a letter, and so I think having the messenger from the city to vouch like this is a no-cost state-funded service. I know you've worked with other community groups. I think just having that trusted partner to explain this is different than the door-to-door salesman has been really helpful.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, a little bit of skepticism is good. Unfortunately, it is an obstacle that I got to overcome when I'm out there in the field talking to folks. We recommend people that, your utility company is not going to come and knock on your door and ask for your bill. They already have it, so just say no. We also recommend that you treat your account number as you would your credit card number. You really want to understand who you give that number to. And also, you can reach out to the utility company directly if you don't know what's going on. I mean, that is why we exist, to trying to bridge that gap, to build trust. And it is more helpful. I mean, people don't know me out there. That's why I'm very grateful for this opportunity. We do work with faith-based organizations. I was just recently at the Straight Way to Heaven Church this past Sunday at the Community Fund Day and backpack giveaway. I work with different neighborhood councils in the area, and the MOCA organization. They're really good guys. They are out there, and they, people trust them, and by affinity, they trust me. But I do want you to read the fine print to understand what you're doing, and we want to help you. One of the things that we provide, services in different languages, what it does is that it encourages people to ask more questions and to push back on us, and I'll be more than happy to appease you and to give you the information that you need to make the proper decision. I think that's why we partner with the city and local organizations to help and connect underserved communities to these energy savings and clean energy programs that are out there. And these programs help folks save energy and money and improve their comfort and health of their home. Unfortunately, I love these companies that use the same tactics as we do, and unfortunately, they might have a better smile than I do when I'm out there. But
you have T-shirts that have your.
I do. We do have All in Energy, but again, people coming here and they think that I might be working for the electrical utility company, or I might be working for MassSafe or a third-party supplier. So I think we have. We want to increase our marketing capabilities, being in shows like this, marketing equipment. I have T-shirts, I have flyers that I give out. We have a picture of your mayor here, sponsoring us, and the logo of the city, which kind of like helps lower people's defenses, and just to tell them they can trust the services that we provide. And you can find me at your local farmers market. I encourage you to come talk to me, and just to have a conversation and see how we can help you. We have a wonderful team of folks out here who are here to guide you and help you make good decisions about your energy systems.
And I do think, this is, again, part of why the city is so supportive of this, right? We want residents, when you have questions, when you're unsure and someone shows up on your door, or when you're looking for one of these services, call the Navigator service, and they can help give you unbiased advice, right? And help you navigate these cumbersome or difficult processes that are difficult for folks to understand. And they have the technical expertise to really walk folks through these things.
Well, as a homeowner, there's a great deal of incentive for someone like me and my wife to explore this, because we have this house and we're trying to not only be good stewards to the house, but good stewards to our community, and acting responsibly in energy consumption is one of those things. But how difficult is it? I mean, in my neighborhood, there's been a real emphasis on new house construction, single-family homes, which is great. But there's still a lot of rental properties. And in fact, in a lot of Springfield neighborhoods, there's a lot of rental properties. So if you knock on those doors, the person who's renting can only do so much. Is that correct? That you really need to sort of convince the property owner that they should participate in some of these programs that could save money? How difficult is it to get to a rental property owner and try to have a discussion?
So something to keep in mind about the Navigator is that everybody can take advantage of these, including renters, homeowners, and landlords. For renters, one of our most common programs is the energy bill checkup at All In Energy. I think sometimes we also encourage folks that rent, if they have a good relationship with their landlord, to bring them in. And to then eventually they have a full Navigator consultation. We also have been in public places like the library hosting workshops for landlords, but renters can also take advantage not only of their energy bill checkup, but there are a lot of programs like, as you mentioned, transportation. At the beginning of the program, there's rebates for electric bicycles that they can participate. There's the electric bike sharing program here in Springfield. Yep. And there is a lot of rebates in yard equipment, appliances that they can take advantage of. The bulk on a building, the bulk of the main decisions will be made by the owner of the home, right? But we tell people that the comfort is going to be increased by the renters who live in the home, and it will increase the value of the home if they can take advantage of some of the mass safe programs. So there's definitely something out there for everybody.
And I think that's such a key, important piece here when you're outreaching and when we're talking to the public, right, is to acknowledge to investor owners it is to your advantage to to utilize this program as well.
Well, I after seeing this, I hope they certainly do. I just want to go through this list because there's a lot of stuff. And Chris, I mean, decarbonization programs. So I'm assuming that you want us to ditch like a regular gas lawnmower and consider something else as an example of decarbonization. Now, am I correct here, or if not, just tell me.
Yeah, that's definitely one example. And so our team, what we really want to pay attention to is like what your goals are for your house, what's important to you, and how we can help you get to whatever that goal is. So like Meg said earlier, we're not selling people on anything. We're trying to provide helpful advice, help you make an informed decision about what it is that you're exploring, help you understand your options. And so if it's hey, my gas lawnmower is giving me problems and I'm curious to explore what an electric lawnmower looks like, we can talk to you all about electric lawnmowers and your different options and how to take advantage of what rebates might be out there. And then maybe say down the road, you're like, hey, I really like that thing. I want to look at an EV because my car is getting old and I want to replace it. And we can talk to you about that. Or if it has to do with your house, if you have an aging heating or cooling system, or we have these heat waves now and you want to explore AC, and we could talk to you about heat pumps or weatherizing your home, help you access what programs you might be eligible for. There's a lot of income eligible programs that can help you get access to this stuff at low or no cost. And yeah, as you maybe take on multiple projects, we understand that might be a lot to think about all at once. But we're here for the long run with you, and we can continue to help you as you do one project and then the next and then the next. And we can continue to help you get that help and information you need to not try to do it all at once. That's a lot. And sometimes you need to do it step by step, but we'll be here to help you along the way.
Okay, well, I hate my lawn. Just to let you know, I hate my lawn.
Thanks.
And the reason I hate my lawn is that it's not good for environment. I mean, grass lawns are not good for the environment. So I've been chopping up bit by bit a lot of my lawn and replacing it with flower gardens and with a big vegetable garden. So I'm trying to use a lawnmower less. Mm-hmm. And it's been intriguing me about going electric then, because it's not like I've got a half acre of grass that I got to cut. I'm trying to diversify my backyard with different kinds of plants, mostly native plants. So does an electric, yes, I'm being very personal, folks. Does an electric mower actually really save some money, or is it Or are you simply trading an expense from something that emits carbon, like a gas-powered lawnmower, to something that does not emit carbon? Because I think that's part of the consideration for this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so a lawnmower burns a lot of gas. It's bad for that one reason, because you're emitting a lot of pollution into the air. It's also really bad for you. You're walking behind this combustion engine and you're breathing a lot of that in. So it's actually quite bad for you and the people around you in your neighborhood. And they're also really noisy. You ever been waking up on a Saturday morning and your neighbor's mowing the lawn and you're like, oh, could you not have waited another hour to do that, right?
Right.
They're all much quieter. So there's a lot of extra benefits just about the machine itself. But yeah, just from you actively mowing your lawn, you'll be emitting fewer emissions or pollution into the air, from switching to electric in that way. And it should be more affordable as well to run that machine. And so, yeah, a lot of good benefits when it comes to that. But totally agree with you to start planting more gardens and things like that. I grow clover in my lawn to help the local pollinators, and I don't have to fertilize anymore because the clover fixates nitrogen in the ground. So there's lots of fun ways to help decarbonize.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to get to the subject of these two young people who knocked on my door who wanted me to switch to their clean electricity program. When somebody gets one of those young people working their way through college talking about clean electricity, what are they actually saying? What is clean electricity? Any of you? All of you? I don't.
I can start. So
please.
There's different ways to access that. So clean electricity can come from solar panels if you have a good roof for it, right? You could add solar panels to your house. You're generating electricity right there. Whatever you use right then and there, you can use at your house. And if you make extra, it goes back to the grid, and you're helping people nearby you with the electricity that you're generating on your roof. And that also can help reduce your electric bill from the net metering. If you don't have access to, your roof might not be situated or well positioned for solar, maybe you have a lot of shade, or it's just not in the right orientation, or maybe it's not really well suited for your budget or your needs, you can look at buying clean electricity from community solar. And so there might be solar farms nearby, and you can buy a little kind of portion of that where from that field you're purchasing for your own use a little bit of that electricity, and that helps through your bill. You can see that reflected there, and it should help lower your energy costs, and your help supporting clean energy in your local environment.
Is that clean energy comparable in cost to the electricity that we're getting from non-clean sources? Is it more expensive? Is it less expensive?
Yeah, you can save money, and that's one of the things that our team can help you with. So if you're looking at a few different quotes, if you're looking at your options of, hey, I'm considering buying solar panels, I'm considering leasing solar panels, and I'm also considering, getting community solar, we can help you understand the contracts, help you understand the pros and cons of each, and how it might affect you and your goals, so that you can make that informed decision.
And I would just add real quick that sometimes when those folks come and knock on your door, they might not be very honest about the sources of their where the electricity comes from. They might tell you that a certain percentage is renewable, and we're finding out that they might not be as truthful as they can be. Part of the services that we provide at All in Energy with the energy bill checkup is that we look at those contracts, we kind of look at the fine print, and we try to find out exactly where the energy comes from, and kind of like the fine print of the, whether these, they might start you with a low rate and then it goes up, or, there's a cancellation fee attached to it. And a lot of folks think that, well, it might be worth paying a little bit extra if I'm getting renewable energy, but the truth is that sometimes that's not, as truthful as they can be.
Just, Christopher talked through solar on your home, buying into a community solar project. Both of those, should reduce your electric bills. A lot of what folks are selling when they come door to door is to change your electric provider. Instead of just having Eversource buy the electricity on your behalf, it's a third-party company. And what they're claiming is that they'll buy more renewable energy credits than the state required minimum. So Massachusetts, because of our climate policies, we require all utilities, Eversource and anyone else selling electricity, to buy a certain percentage of renewable energy credits. And then some of these companies can buy more, and that can be attractive to people if they want to do their part to reduce the carbon emissions from their electricity. You're sort of getting those renewable energy credits as long as you're reading the fine print and it's a trusted source, which is something the Navigator can help you understand if you have any questions.
So it sounds to me like all of us, for one thing that we can go to the Navigator for is the interpretation of our electric bill to see if we're paying the right rate, to see if there's anything we can do to reduce it. That sounds like that's a step that any of us and all of us ought to do, is maybe a preliminary. Just let's check the bill out to see if it is what it's supposed to be, or if there can be some improvement on it. Energy consumption touches so many different aspects of one's life and one's home. And the amazing thing about this program, in my mind, is the breadth of what you guys are willing to talk about with people. I mean, that's, I think, very, very important. You know, I just pause so we can cut that out.
We're good.
Okay. One thing that has been very active with several different nonprofit groups in the city over the course of the year is weatherization. And obviously this is an ongoing effort to take homes and buildings and make them much more energy sufficient. When we talk about a residence, weatherization covers a whole lot of ground, doesn't it? In our case, my wife and I have got insulation in the attic. We got insulation under the siding. We've also changed out all of our windows. I don't know, since our house is 200 years old, how old the windows were. But I bet they were up there because they were the classic New England sash windows. And by the time we bought it, none of those sashes worked because the ropes had, you know, had eroded and it wasn't working. But we've tried very hard with our home to try to plug the leaks. What are some of the things that you folks are seeing in terms of weatherization that may go further than that, or maybe more comprehensive than that you could suggest to a homeowner that they take a look at?
I can start there. So yeah, depending on what your house is looking like and like what your income levels are, there's a variety of programs that someone can take advantage of to get that process started. It typically starts with like a home energy assessment, where they're going to look around the home, find out where you could make improvements, and then scope out those improvements, and then that work will get handed over to the insulation, the weatherization contractor to complete. And so kind of depending on what your income level is, you'll get access to different programs that address different things. Low income programs, that's all largely going to be available to you at no cost. So to get that insulation done, to get the air sealing work done to stop the air from creeping in around the gaps. And they'll largely address like walls, basement, rim, like the perimeter of your basement walls, your attic, crawl spaces, and then do air sealing in some of the living space as well, like around doors. But actually a lot of the air sealing that needs to get done is primarily done in the basement and the attic. And so those are the real areas that can make a really big impact. Depending on what you might have for pre-existing windows, there are programs out there that can replace them. But if you already might have double pane windows in your homes, those are usually decent enough that the changing over to newer double pane windows or triple pane windows isn't always fully included in a program, but there may be some incentives to help pay for it. If you are a moderate income customer, or if you're kind of like you access to like the market rate programs, those all still like really incentivize the insulation, the air sealing all around the house. I had that done in my 1949 Cape, and they insulated my walls. I have knee walls or crawl spaces upstairs in my Cape. They did the basement around the rim joist, and that made a dramatic improvement in my old Cape, and I'm able to heat it a lot more efficiently now and keep it much cooler in the summertime now too.
This is a popular project that we hear about. I mean, MassSafe is not new. A lot of folks have gone through the process of getting a home energy assessment, as Chris was mentioning, and getting their home well insulated. There are some obstacles out there, and I think one of the things that the Navigator does is kind of help people that got stuck somewhere in the middle or with a contractor that didn't follow up. I mean, sometimes because of the popularity, there's a longer wait. But there are some obstacles like all wiring, exposed wiring, knob and tube wiring, which is something that was used in all construction codes. A lot of these are part of the energy audit is to watch out for safety concerns. If you are having like bad combustion systems, they are generating a little extra or a lot of carbon monoxide. You don't want to insulate that home, right? So a lot of these processes might be a little cumbersome, but it's there to for safety reasons. But it is one of the most popular ones, and people, at least they understand the importance of energy efficiency once they have had a insulated home or gone through the process, as you mentioned. Then we can start talking about bigger projects to start, like heat pumps for their heating and cooling. Talk about their windows, electrifying their homes, solar panels. But it starts with a home energy audit and insulation, weatherization, and air sealing is very important.
Great place to start. If you don't know where to start, getting a home energy assessment, getting your energy bill checkup, those are two great places to start from. And then our team can kind of support you from there as you might take on other projects or explore your other options.
And you get a home energy assessment every 2 years, or you qualify for one.
Which I think a lot of folks don't know, that you can go back to the well more than once through the MassSave program. And I will say, I also went through the MassSave program with a home in Springfield that was built in 1901, a wood frame home, and faced multiple obstacles, including knob and tube wiring and an old heating system. And it would have been incredibly helpful at the time to have a service to call to be able to ask questions about, well, gee, now what do I do next? So again, urging folks to really take advantage of that.
Is our climate okay for heat pumps? I ask this just because my brother lives in Virginia, and everybody seems to have a heat pump in Virginia. But that's a different climate than we have. So do heat pumps work in New England with the potentially worse winters, even though our past couple of winters have been distressingly mild? But do they work here as well?
Absolutely. My house is fully heated with heat pumps. I don't have any oil or gas or propane or anything in my house anymore. So totally comfortable. You want to make sure you weatherize your house, like we were just saying. Take advantage of that home energy assessment, get the weatherization through the MassSave program or some of the other programs you might have access to. And from there, it's totally realistic to heat and cool your house with heat pumps. There might be different considerations depending on what your goals are. What you're heating with your house right now. Where are you concerned about operating costs? These are all things that we can help talk you through, so that when it comes to making that decision, you're fully informed and you know what your options are. And as you might get multiple quotes for those heat pumps, or if you're eligible for it because of your income, you may have access to some of these things at low or no cost. We can kind of help you understand what the options are, especially if you're going through this kind of more of a market rate where you're going to go get a few different quotes before you might choose. We can help you look at those quotes, understand them, give you good feedback to go back and ask those contractors before you end up making a choice about which one you want to work with.
All right. Can't help but chime in just in support of heat pumps in Massachusetts. My home, we had a 30-year-old boiler, and we switched a couple years ago over to heat pumps, and that's all we use to heat the home. And I think about energy all the time. I also have 2 young kids, so I'm not taking any risks. We got it when my daughter was just born. It's comfortable all winter, even on those few cold days we had in the last few years. I think there've been some product improvements. So there were heat pumps in the 80s or 90s that didn't fully keep up in the winter, and so you still sometimes run into some contractors with some misconceptions. But the modern products that have been on the market for the last 10 plus years really do work in our climate. And I think what feels even more reassuring to folks is that heat pumps are wildly popular in Maine and Vermont. They're kicking our butts on heat pump adoption. So I think when people hear like, oh yeah, people are exclusively heating their homes in Vermont, up in Maine.
Canada too.
With heat pump, that's true. I think that gives the comfort, like, okay, they can handle the Massachusetts winter.
So basically, historically, we've got three kinds of heat in our residences: electric, oil, gas. Well, I guess I should add like wood pellet on that too, because a number of people do heat their homes with wood pellets. Are there preferred ways? We've talked about heat pumps, but are there preferred ways within those more traditional types of heating systems that a consumer should look at in terms of upgrading? In other words, is there a better way to heat with electricity? Is there a better way to heat with oil? Is there a better way to heat with gas? Or basically, should we sort of aim toward more modern technologies?
I think the best thing anyone with any heating source can do is go get your home weatherized, like we were just talking about. Whatever your heating source is, that should make it easier to stay warm in the winter and cool in the summer. So that's the best thing anyone can do, I think. I do think eventually we want to move to our modern solutions that aren't burning fossil fuels in people's homes and buildings. That said, if you have a new or perfectly good gas or oil heating system, we're not saying like run out and change it tomorrow. I think, these decision points are when it's at the end of its life, or if you wanted to add cooling, I think that's when you could start to do some research. But we're certainly not suggesting that people go and replace, perfectly good existing heating systems.
Okay, so Tina's got a house built in 1901, right? 1901?
Yes, 1901.
1949, 1822. But yet, so I see the need for our older homes definitely to go through all of this, to go through the weatherization assessment and the energy bill assessment. But if someone's listening to this and their house was built 20 years ago, should they be as concerned as well about trying to optimize what they've got? Or a 20-year-old technology for heating, cooling, electricity is okay?
It's a great question.
Which one of you want to answer? But occasionally I got to make you uncomfortable here. So.
Oh no, we're not uncomfortable. It's a good question. Yeah. So if your home is about 20 years old and you still have the same equipment that was installed when the house was built, you are probably nearing end of life for some or all of your heating and cooling equipment. Your water heater, if you haven't replaced it yet, probably on its last legs. So now is a perfect time to start thinking about this now, before you're in an emergency situation where like, oh no, I don't have heating or cooling, or because it broke and you have to make this split-second decision about what to do. If you can plan ahead, it'll be much less stressful, first of all, when that does happen, or you can replace it ahead of time, because yes, your contractor might have said, this thing's on its last legs, you might only get another season out of it. You should start thinking about replacing it. If you get in touch with us, we can help you understand what you have access to for financing or incentives or low or no cost programs to replace that equipment, so that you don't end up in an emergency situation. You might end up with something that doesn't put you into kind of this more modern heating and cooling world that you do have access to, and we can help you figure out how to access that. So that's what I'd say to folks who have relatively newer homes, as far as us from the 1800s or 19. And I was in a similar situation when I moved into my home. I had a very old boiler and an oil tank that was going to start leaking, and so I had to plan ahead before I ran into some sort of emergency situation. And so I think that's the best way we can help, is help you plan ahead if you're not quite ready yet, but you think you might be soon.
And I think the other piece is, right, focusing on Springfield, much of Springfield does have an older housing stock. Even in some of the newer neighborhoods, having homes built after the 70s or 80s is not very common. So the vast majority of Springfield residents would reap significant benefits from utilizing this.
And I think an energy assessment would still be very valuable for somebody with a new home. They can look at the materials that were used. New doesn't necessarily mean better, but they might need more insulation. They might still need some of the services that MassSafe and provides.
So let's say you're in the position of building your home. Let's say that you got a nice piece of property and you and yours wants to build your dream house. Is it a good idea to call the number and talk to a navigator about, if you're building new, what you should think about doing, what you could include into a plan for a new house? For instance, obviously the panel is pretty high on heat pumps. Should that be something that you suggest, before the house is built, while you're planning the house, while you're sitting there looking at plans? So do you get people who are in that position that say, from the get-go, I want to optimize energy efficiency in a new construction? Have you gotten any of those folks? Or is that something that people should do if they're building new?
Might be less common for us to encounter folks that are in that situation, but we'd absolutely encourage folks that are in that situation or thinking about it to engage with us. There is a lot of things to consider when you're building a new house. You have to think about it, pretty much every layer there is. But when it comes to heating and cooling or the decarbonization side, if you want to build an all-electric house, or if you are thinking about how do I layer in more redundancy so I have backup heating systems, we are happy to talk you through all of that so that you can help make more informed decisions. There are builders out there, there are contractors out there that are still largely wanting to install more conventional fossil fuel equipment. Heat pumps might still be an afterthought for some of the builders and contractors that are out there. And I understand where they might be coming from, but we're happy to help customers understand what their options are, advocate for themselves. We can arm them with the right questions to ask and give them the right information they need to become educated on the topic, so that when they go and have those conversations with their architect or their builder or whoever it might be, they can kind of get toward that goal, whatever it might look like for them.
Okay. Appliances. Now, I think all of us, if we need a new fridge or if we need a new dishwasher or something like that, the first thing we do is we go to our appliance store and we look for that big yellow sticker that talks about energy consumption for that particular appliance. And I know that information on the appliance has been around for a number of years. That's part of your process in assessing what you should need. But in this day and age, is that even more important to really understand the energy costs or energy savings that a particular modern appliance might offer you? Is that still something that really people should be thinking about?
I would say yes, and in our the current rate structures we have out there for how much we pay for electricity, how much we pay for gas or oil or propane, all of these cost different amounts, and so it can be really complex to understand. If I get this product and I used to be using this fuel and I'm switching fuels, what does my new operating cost look like? And that can be really complex, and you might be working with gallons of oil and now you're switching to kilowatt hours. Like, how does that translate? That's all pretty complex stuff, and that's we have tools and ways to help customers understand what that transition might look like, so that you're informed and knowing, okay, if I make this switch, my electric bill is going to go up, but I won't be paying for this other fuel anymore, so overall I'm saving money. Or maybe it's more kind of, you're going to more or less be paying the same, or maybe it's a little out of kilter. Maybe you're going to increase your operating costs a little bit, but you're getting these other benefits by making the switch, so that you can understand all of this before you make that choice. And so you're going into it with, full clarity and understand.
Okay. Getting toward the end of the list here, but I deeply appreciate the answers that you guys have been giving us. The electrical upgrades, are we talking about like our home wiring when we talk about electrical upgrades?
Yeah.
and that is to save electricity. And I will say that my old house did not have the knob and wire thing, thank God. We recently had our panel changed out, an upgrade of service, and the electrician was very happy to learn that our house did not have that. But many older homes still do have that. If you have something like that, is that costing you money in terms of electrical service? And I mean, I know there's a safety and modernization element to replacing that kind of thing, but is there any other additional benefit?
There's definitely benefits, upgrading from like knob and tube older wiring to a more modern style of wiring. I don't know that there's really any associated like energy saving that would happen from that type of upgrade. But in a home that still has that type of wiring, you probably have a bit of an older electrical panel that can't support as much connectivity to things in your house. So as you want to add more electrical demand in your home through, EV or electrical yard equipment, heat pumps, if you want to add solar, things of those nature typically require, a look at your electric panel and to see, all right, can we use what's here now, or do we need to make, an upsize to what's here so that we can support the additional needs of electrical usage in the home?
Or even run a hairdryer sometimes. I mean, I've
right.
been in that situation myself.
Yep.
Well, I mean, the first place my wife and I lived in Springfield was a very old home in Indian Orchard, and it still had fuses, which you don't see very often, but I'm willing to bet some of our viewers have still got fuses in an older home.
Right.
Oh, definitely.
And definitely upgrading that from the fuse to the circuit breaker, I would think would be something you'd want to do.
I want to add, like some of the programs that are available if you're looking at heat pumps and you may be eligible for like an income qualified program. If you do need to upgrade your electrical panel, like that can be part of that project, and you can get it at low or no cost. Or if you're not eligible for like the income qualified programs, you may be able to finance that at like really low interest or no interest. And there's other really cool programs out there that we can help you understand what they are, so that you can maybe do and bundle a decent amount of projects together and get really good financing for it. We can help you kind of understand what the options are.
So a key part of everything that you folks are offering through this is talking about what the challenges is for a homeowner, and to understand that you should develop a plan, and a plan that has all of these challenges somehow included and prioritized, so you can figure out, as you just said, to take advantage of bundling tasks together to save money overall on your modernization of your energy system.
Exactly, and through these consultations we've referenced throughout today's discussion, and those are completed virtually, so over Zoom on the computer or on the phone if you want to chat on the phone, and through that, once we understand where you're coming from, what your goals are, our team can put together a plan for you and provide that to you via email, so that you do have something that you can reference and look back to. And as you progress through those steps, you can re-engage with the navigator that you had talked to and say, hey, I'm on step 2 here now. Can I talk about this next project? And you'll have that plan, and we can provide that for you.
And that's something that we see very often, where individuals kind of don't understand exactly where they're stuck. As you can see, there are a lot of different levels here. The navigators are an excellent tool for you to understand what's going on where you are. And we encourage people, this is not a one-time consultation. Please call us back when you're ready to make these changes, these projects. We want to build a relationship with the community.
Okay. Well, we're getting toward the end of the hour, which means I want to re-emphasize the best way of getting a hold of you guys. And as I understand it, we can do it by phone, or we can do it through the website. Is there a preference in terms of reaching the navigator staff, or is either way just as good?
I think either way is just as good. We're ready to meet you where you are, and so our team loves to engage with people on those virtual consultations. So like on a video chat, whether you have a laptop or a computer, or you can do it on your phone, or if you don't have those, we can talk to you on the telephone. That's just fine. So whatever you need, we're here to help you through that way. And yeah, you can call in as well, and we can route you to where you need to be, help you figure it out if you don't know where to start at all. And so the website's a good place to read about what we have available for services. Check those out, and then once you feel like you know what's right for you, you can click the box to schedule an appointment, or you can make a phone call and pick it up and talk to somebody and figure it out from there.
We even take emails, right?
We take emails as well.
Just have a quick question to shoot via
If you
email.
want to do that, yeah.
It's hard to make a plan for your whole home via email, but if
Right.
you have a one-off question, like you don't have time for the whole video chat, you can just start with an email.
Yeah, easy.
So let's just remind folks, this pilot program in Springfield is good through what date? When?
We're definitely running all this year, all next year, potentially the following year, and then as we get into the 2028 range, that's when we'll be looking to kind of cherry pick the best ideas and practices and hopefully scale those through Mass Save. So definitely all this year, all next year.
But I think the wisdom would be, if you've got a question or a problem that you want to explore, to give you guys a call, send you an email, go to the website now, just to get the process rolling.
Yeah.
And I would add, even if you're part of a community organization, a neighborhood council, that you need us to come and present. That's part of my job. Be out there in the community. I encourage you to reach out to us, and we'll be happy to present. I'll be in the library setting up what we call sort of our office hours. And Tina is a great resource for us to kind of set up this type of communication points. You can come and see me at community events and just come and chat, say hello.
We do webinars too, so if you have something like that you'd like us to do some evening for your community, we'd be happy to support that as well.
Excellent. Well, I'll just say that the website is Home Modernization Navigator. You can pop that into your search engine and it will bring you to the right place. Or you can call 844-CLEAN, CLEAN 95. So there's the phone number, there's the website. And if you're like me and you own a home, or if you're like yourself and you just rent, this is something that you need to do. You need to call these folks with any sort of questions that you have about how you can upgrade and modernize your energy system at your house, at your domicile. Thanks very much for coming by today. We really appreciate it. And I hope that, you'll be getting a phone call from me sooner or later here, because I've got some questions here on how to improve my house as well.
It's been a pleasure.
Good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And folks, thanks once again for tuning in to Focus Springfield and Government Matters.